Hey nerds, we're going over episode 3 of X-Men 97, starting now. Welcome to the Nerd Soul Show. I am Colin.
I'm David.
This is the third episode of X-Men 97. This week was only one episode, and we're going to do a spoiler breakdown of it. David, what do you think of this episode?
I really enjoyed this episode because I like the pace and it doesn't drag on and gets straight to the point, especially with a lot of revelations of the characters. But I really enjoyed this episode a lot.
Okay. For me, I agree with you 100%. I think that there was definitely a lot of reveals from the comics, a lot of twists and turns as we went along, and definitely some callbacks to the original series. We were just discussing it before we started recording about how it connected all the way back, because your encyclopedic mind is much more to the X-Men than I was, because I had to actually go back to watch some of the old episodes. So it'll be very interesting as we get into the screenshots as to how it relates back to the original episodes. So in terms of rating, what do you think you're going to give episode 3?
I would give it a 9,
9? Okay, that's
which is a
movie marathon.
marathon.
All right. And I probably would give it a 9 to movie marathon, because I think that it was really good storytelling, but also what we want to anticipate going back to the original series. Any other thoughts before we get into spoiler territory?
Let's dive in.
All right. So if you like what we have to say about X-Men 97 and other content like this, please like, share, and subscribe so that the algorithm can help us. So spoilers ahead. We're going to get right to it with the opening scene. We left off from the second episode with the reveal that there was a Jean Grey that appeared at the front door, and Morph was like, what's going on here? And there was a lot of dialogue back and forth as to who this person was, and we ended up knowing that there was a clone, just like what you said, David. And they revealed it pretty quickly. Oh, there's something sinister happening, and we thought, oh yeah, it's probably Mr. Sinister. And it brought back a lot of memories to the old series and how it all shaped out. David, I know that you went into the lore a little bit, so can you shed some light on how this is all connected to the original series?
All right, first of all, to give the fans a little heads up that Mr. Sinister is a mutant
Mm-hmm.
who is a 19th century biologist, and then he is obsessed with Darwin's theory of evolution. He's trying to figure out, is there an evolution for mutants beyond that? So he always finds other mutants to test his theory. But then, as revealed already, that Jean Grey is in fact a clone revealed by Beast, who is very upset about it because she really thinks she's the real one until she heard a voice from Mr. Sinister, who then revealed that I'm your creation, and you can call me Mr. Sinister or call me Father.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was really creepy. Like going through the baby monitor. Keep going.
And then later on, she had flashbacks of how she was created in the first place, which dates to way back in season 2 of X-Men, the original series, where Scott and Jean Grey, the original, were married, and they were going on some island, which turned out to be Sinister Island, and they were captured by Mr. Sinister. Sinister to create a clone of Jean. And then when Scott got freed and escaped with the X-Men about the island, what he did not realize that he escaped with the wrong Jean, which was revealed in the memories of this episode right here.
So you're just telling me that from season 2 on to this present X-Men
Yes.
episode, that was not the Jean Grey we know about. So
Yeah,
Phoenix
which
Saga, Dark Phoenix Saga, that was the clone.
Yeah. Yeah, so the entire time
Wow.
with the Dark Phoenix saga, it was not the real Jean Grey.
Okay, wow,
So
that's
the whole time.
and it's pretty shocking if this is actually what happens. So here we have a scene of them being trapped in the Jean clone's mind in what you call Dante's Inferno, David. So this is a funny animation here with Wolverine with the circular eyes, and then the floor dropped right under them. And they were being attacked by monsters. It was pretty awesome scene in terms of animation and artwork, don't you think?
Yeah, because compared to the original series, the animation this time is much cleaner, much smoother. I'm thrilled about how they evolved the animation, but they still kept the charm and nostalgic feel of the original.
Mm-hmm. And so we get our first chance of seeing this Jean Grey clone. She reveals herself as the Goblin Queen. And I had to actually look that up a little bit to see what that was about. And it was Goblin Queen, aka Madeline Pryor. We don't ever get to mention her name until actually the very end of the episode. She refers to herself as Goblin Queen. And of course, she is now under the control of Mr. Sinister and trying to immobilize Cyclops in this scene. And so we get to see what her mind is going through. And all of a sudden, Jean Grey started to feel all that, the real Jean Grey. And there was also a very touching scene between her and Wolverine. And we can remember the love triangle between those three, which was very, very interesting to see her knowing the truth about how Wolverine feels about her. She knows, but it solidifies what he's been thinking about all this time. And then we had a battle between the real Jean Grey and the Jean clone in her mind. Here, they were going to Sinister's mansion and before fighting the Goblin Queen. And so you can see Bishop Morph, he is there because he's had a past with Sinister before. He reluctantly told the team where was he located, and Magneto was leading the team here. And you get to see the first glimpse of Sinister here, how he's obsessed over Scott Summers and Jean Grey for a while now, ever since season 2, like you said, David. What do you think of Sinister's appearance here in this episode?
His appearance gives the same eerie feeling ever since the original series. They still got it. Mm-hmm. But now it also reveals of why he is so obsessed with Jean Grey and Scott Summers.
Right.
And he explained it to him when he was holding Nathan and putting in some sort of like a lab tube of the to
which
expose
is this one right
Nathan.
Yep.
Some trying to be some technogenic virus in him because he believes that Jean Grey and Scott Summers have the strongest mutants of all. So that's why he's obsessed with trying to make an offspring about that and then use it for his own purpose. Hence, he put in the tube there.
And then we find out that later on, when Cyclops, I think it was Cyclops who broke the tube, it was revealed that Nathan has the technovirus. And we see the roots of Nathan Summers becomes Cable. And you mentioned about that in our previous recording. Beast is looking at it and saying it's beyond our technology, beyond time. The clone was saying that maybe in a different time period, he would be able to survive. And so that tells you the origin stories of Cable here. And we reveal that the Jean clone giving Nathan away to Bishop because Bishop can time travel to the future. When we saw Cable in the original series, he was fighting Apocalypse in the year 3999 in New York City. But Bishop, we know that he's from the mid-2000s. I'm not really sure how there was going to be a big time jump between where Bishop is at and where Cable is going to be as an adult. Maybe, David, you can shed some light on that because I'm not quite sure about the timeline there.
In the original series, we did see Cable. He did not reveal his true name as is right now. He went back in time to see if he can prevent Apocalypse from growing. With Nathan being revealed right now, we don't know if time changed. Bishop is from at least 80 years from the current timeline of the X-Men. Hopefully we'll see Cable's upbringing, and then maybe we'll reveal why he came from the year 3999. Or will he reveal to his parents that it's me, I'm your son?
Because they never revealed that in the original series. He just came back in the time to stop Apocalypse. They did not even talk about that. Cyclops is a very complex family tree because we know that from the original series, his father is part of the Starjammers in space, right? His brother is basically on X Factor, Havoc, and then his son is basically Cable, and then Cable has a son in that episode, Tyler. So it's all very weird, and then also we get to see Jean Grey on the left and Madeline Pryor on the right. She revealed herself as Madeline Pryor and going about her own way, just trying to figure things out. Jean Grey is having this out-of-body experience and everything's coming back in some ways, but then Madeline has all these other thoughts and all these other memories. So it was a weird dichotomy between the two. And I think that it serves the story that one of them goes by the wayside. We have a post-credit scene where we revisit where Storm is at in her journey. We found out that Storm has lost her powers, but then she appears in a bar in Texas and meets up with Forge. And we know that Forge from the original series was part of X Factor, which was a government mutant team. But you want to add to that, David, a little bit about X Factor?
X-Men was first revealed way back in the original series when Iceman, who was one of the original X-Men, came to the X-Men for help to find his former flame, which is Polaris, which hint everyone, he is Magneto's real daughter. So,
Magneto, another one with complicated family history.
yeah.
Keep going.
When the X-Men and Iceman found her, it turned out to be the whole time it was a test between the two teams, X Factor and X-Men. There are a few things that I hope this episode will lead to another revelation that Scott didn't realize that his brother Havoc, Alex Summers, is part of the X Factor team. With Forge here, maybe the X-Men will meet the X Factor again, and Scott will find out that Alex was alive the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
Because Scott always felt alone besides being with the X-Men because his dad abandoned him, which is not true. He's actually thought to be dead because his dad was abducted by the Shi'ar Empire.
Right.
Scott and Alex were split apart when they were parachuting from a plane. So there's a few questions I might ask. Will the X-Men see X Factor? Will Scott see Alex again? Will Mr. Senator appear again? And also, now that the real Jean Grey returned, how did Scott and Jean Grey move forward from this now that so much time has passed?
The episode that you were referring to was Cold Comfort, and then Forge also we saw in the future with Bishop in the Days Future Past animated thing, not the movie. Any final thoughts before we wrap up?
The pace of the show and how they actually closing gaps or open-ended questions from the last series, and it really answered a lot so far. So hopefully they'll answer more questions later on the next few episodes.
Okay. That's our review of the episode 3 of X-Men 97. If you like to hear more content like this, please share and subscribe, and we will see you in the next video. All right, talk to you soon. Bye.
Later.